Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit about Google Earth and how to insert Google Earth activities into your Nearpod lessons. So the first thing we're going to do when we're logged into Nearpod is we want to create a new lesson. And you can start by adding a title slide or some background information, some instructions, that sort of thing. And then you're going to want to go find an activity in Google Earth to put in your Nearpod. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to open a new tab here at the top. And there are a few ways to get to Google Earth. You could click on this waffle here at the top if you're already logged in and go to google.com. Scroll down. There may be a more button right here that you have to click, and then you'll see Google Earth right here. Or you could just search in the search bar, Google Earth, and just click on the first link that comes up, google.com/earth. So we are going to launch Google Earth and give it a moment to load. There's a lot of content in here, so sometimes it takes a moment. And then what we want to look at today is this Voyager option right here. We're going to explore the pre-made stories that Google Earth already has created. And many of them are specific to education. So once we click on Voyager, we can start exploring the stories that Google Earth has. So I haven't found a way to search the stories, so you just kind of have to go through these different titles right here and search to see what they have. One that I'm going to show you, if we go into history and we scroll down and start looking through some of the ones that they have, there's the Underground Railroad, and then there's Lewis and Clark, and I'm going to use the Lewis and Clark one as the example. There's also Martin Luther King. There are ones on explorers, and there are also ones for some of the younger grades, even as low as kindergarten. So I'm going to use Lewis and Clark as my example right now, and then I'll sort of point you towards some of the ones they have for younger grades as well. So when we click on the Lewis and Clark story, it gives us some background right here, some information to start, and then we can click Discover, and it has mapped out the route that Lewis and Clark took. So, and then right here, it has 12 sort of slides that guide you through this voyage. So I can play around with this first before I start that. And I can zoom out and take a look at, so I started this one earlier. That's why it has me starting here. I keep scrolling out. So we can see in the United States where it has mapped out the route that Lewis and Clark took and all the different points along the way where they have different activities set up for you. So the first one is right here. And I'm going to restart it so you can see what it looks like from the beginning. So it starts by giving some information here on the right-hand side about Lewis and Clark, and it gives the kids a video to watch. Once we watch that video, we can go to the next one, which is up here, Floyd's Bluff, and it gives more information about what happened there. Then we can go to the next one, and it takes them further down the path that Lewis and Clark traveled to Fort Mandan, and it gives some information about what happened there. Watch this video to learn more about this. So this is really cool and a great way for kids to explore and really make some of these concepts very real to them. Again, I like to scroll out and sort of see the entire trip. So if I found a story like this in Google Earth that I wanted to put into my Nearpod lesson, I would come over here to my share option, and I would say I want to share this story. I want to share the whole story, and I want to get a link for that story. Copy my link, Then I come back into my Nearpod. Wherever I want to put the story, I add content. I'm going to add a slide. Just kidding, I'm not going to add a slide. Let me go back. I'm going to add web content. And I am going to paste in that link and save it. So this is the slide I did not use, so I'm going to delete that. And then I can always preview what I've done. So when students get to this part of your Nearpod lesson, here's what it's going to look like. It's going to say click here to open this page, and it's going to take them straight to Google Earth. Takes a moment for that to load sometimes, and they can start that story. Then once they finish and exit out of it, what you can choose to add after they do the story in Google Earth. Oops. Oops. I'm going to edit it. Once they do the story in Google Earth, you can add in some quiz questions, some short response questions, have them reflect on what they've done, and that's sort of how you can add some accountability to this activity, because then you can go in and see how all the kids responded. You can add questions that they can only answer if they completed this entire story, and so on. So this is a great activity to have kids work on while you're pulling kids for conferences, or as an enrichment activity for kids who finished early, or at a station that kids are rotating through. So there are lots of different ways to use this. Now I want to go back really quick to Google Earth to show you some of the other ones that exist for lower grades. So if we scroll back up to the top and we can see all of the topics, I can go in to my education topic. And there's reading the ABCs from space. Some people see animals or omens in clouds and landscapes. NASA sees letters. So this is a really cool one for some lower grades. You kind of just have to search. These are two that I really like too: myths and legends from around the world and fairy tales from around the world. So it takes them to the locations that those stories originated. They get to learn more about them. So again, you just kind of have to scroll through and see what they have. But there are some really fun resources in here.